what we could do, there's lots of ways we could do it. We could do some cross canceling and we can reduce some things. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I like to multiply things out and then reduce. However, if you were to cross cancel, that wouldn't be a bad idea either. So what I like to do is I like to take the like terms isn't the right term, but I like to take the same bases and multiply them. So, well, that's not even the right word. So, like, I have a coefficient of 20 and a coefficient of 2. So I'm going to pull those out and say 20 times 2. Okay, and that comes from here and from here. Then the next thing I have is I have my a to the 7th and no a over here. So I'm going to say a, whoops, that's a big A. But a to the 7th, okay? And then the next thing I have is I have the b's, and this is just the top, right? So I have b to the 6th times b squared. Now that's going to go over all this other stuff on the bottom. So now if I take the same approach to the numbers, on the bottom I have, this is technically 1a times b and 4. So I'm writing it down just so you know that it's there, but you don't have to write it down if you remember that. So then next I want to do the a's. So I'm going to say a to the 1st times a to the 3rd. And then lastly what I want to do is I'm going to say b to the 3rd times b to the 8th. Okay? So now I could just multiply this out. 20 times 2 is 40. A to the 7th is just a to the 7th. Now what's the shortcut here? What do I do with the powers? Add them. So this becomes b to the 8th, right? And then over here, I'm going to have 1 times 4, which is 4. And then I have a to the 4th, right? Because we're going to add 1 plus 3. And then b to the 11th. So now here's the thing. We want to simplify this. So before I simplify it, well, what's 40 divided by 4? 10, right? But really it's 10 over 1. So let's put it as 10 over 1, right? Maybe we'll simplify that a little more in a second. Now, a to the 7th means a times a times a times a 7 times on the top. And a to the 4th on the bottom means a times a 4 times, right? So I've got 4 on the bottom, 7 on the top. If I cancel 1 a on the top for every a on the bottom, what will I end up with? 3 on the top, right? Now the shortcut for that is I could just subtract 4 here and subtract 4 here. Now that'll give me a to the 0 on the bottom, and on the top that will give me a to the 3rd. Now if I do the same thing with the b's, I have more b's on the bottom than I have on the top, so which one do I subtract, the 8 or the 11?
You get a negative the 1 on the top.
Yeah, so what I want to do is I want to subtract 8 here and subtract 8 here. So that gives me b to the 0 on the top and b to the 3. So by choosing to subtract by the smallest power of each base, you end up with a positive base on either the top or the bottom. Now if you did it backwards, like if you did this problem and you had subtracted 11 from the top and the bottom and you had a negative 3 on the top, well, we know to make a negative you just go to the other side of the fraction. It's just an extra step. So now let's clean this up a little bit. What is 10 times a to the 3rd times b to the 0? Really, what's b to the 0? It's not nothing. It's 1. Right? Anything raised to the 0 power is 1. So we have 10 times a to the 3rd times 1, which is really 10 a to the 3rd, isn't it? Now what's a to the 0? 1. So I have 1 times b to the 3rd, or just b to the 3rd. Any questions? That is the answer.